Captain Elena Reyes stared out the viewport of Lunar Station Alpha, watching Earth rotate slowly below. The blue marble looked peaceful from here, but she knew better. Humanity had fought hard to earn its place among the stars, only to find themselves boxed in by the very alliance they'd hoped would protect them. Beautiful view, isn't it, Captain? The voice belonged to Admiral Chen, who appeared silently beside her. It would be more beautiful if we were allowed to properly defend it, Elena replied, not bothering to hide the bitterness in her tone. That's precisely why I asked you here, Chen said, gesturing toward a nearby conference room. Walk with me. Inside, holographic schematics hovered above the central table, the design for a massive ship. Elena recognized the basic configuration of a deep space mining vessel, but something about the proportions seemed off. The Defiance, Chen announced, officially designated as DMV-117, Deep Mining Vessel, Class 1, Hull 17. Unofficially, well, that's where you come in. Elena examined the schematics more closely. This isn't a standard mining configuration. Very observant. No, it's not. Chen's smile was tight. The Treaty of Arcturus has been in effect for 3 years now. 3 years since we fought the Krell to a standstill. 3 years since the Galactic Council stepped in and forced a peace treaty that left us virtually defenseless. Elena nodded grimly. The treaty had been clear. Humans, as the newest members of the Galactic Council, were classified as a conflict-prone species and forbidden from building or operating warships for 100 years. The Council would provide protection, eventually, but frontier colonies were left vulnerable in the meantime. No warships for humans, Chen continued. That's what the treaty says, but it doesn't say anything about mining vessels with unusually robust capabilities. Understanding dawned on Elena. You're building a warship disguised as a mining vessel. I prefer to think of it as a mining vessel with additional functionality, Chen corrected. And I need someone to captain it who understands both mining operations and tactical warfare. Someone whose record is impeccable enough to pass Council scrutiny. Elena's personnel file appeared in the hologram. Her background was perfect for this. 4 years commanding resource extraction operations in the asteroid belt, preceded by 6 years in Earth's naval forces before first contact. The Council will inspect every inch of this ship before commissioning, Elena pointed out. Of course they will, Chen agreed. That's why everything has to serve a legitimate mining purpose, on paper and in practice. Over the next hour, Chen walked her through the Defiance's special features. High-powered mineral-cutting lasers that could slice through ship hulls as easily as asteroids. Magnetic ore separators that could be reconfigured to disrupt enemy ship systems. Reinforced cargo grapples strong enough to capture or immobilize vessels. Radiation shields designed to withstand solar flares or weapons fire. And the piece de resistance, Chen said, expanding the hologram to show the engine section. Over-dimension thrust capacity. For emergency maneuvers in unstable asteroid fields, of course. Of course, Elena echoed, a smile forming. And I assume these modifications are hidden from casual inspection. Dr. Takashi Yamamoto is handling that aspect. You'll meet him tomorrow. Chen closed the hologram. So, Captain Reyes, are you interested in commanding a mining vessel? Elena thought of Earth's vulnerable colonies of the Krell raiders who tested the edges of human territory, knowing the Council response would always be too little, too late. When do I start? 3 months later, Elena stood in the central corridor of the Defiance as Inspector Galactic moved methodically through the ship. The Arcturian was meticulous, his 6-fingered hands tapping notes into his datapad as his large eyes missed nothing. These mineral-cutting lasers, Galactic said, examining the forward array. They appear to have unusual focusing capabilities. Dr. Yamamoto, standing beside Elena, nodded enthusiastically. Yes, human mining techniques require precision. Different minerals require different cutting parameters. Efficiency is paramount. Elena held her breath. Yamamoto was brilliant at engineering, but not the most convincing liar. Zalek studied the readouts. And these power couplings. Redundancy. Elena interjected. Mining in deep space, far from support. We can't afford system failures. The Arcturian's antenna twitched, a sign of suspicion among his species. Captain Rice, I must remind you that any vessel with military capabilities would constitute a violation of the Treaty of Arcturus. Inspector Zalek, Elena replied calmly. The Defiance is a mining vessel. Every system on board serves mining functions. If those systems happen to be robust, that's simply good engineering. Zalek spent 5 days inspecting every centimeter of the Defiance. The crew held their collective breath when he examined the reinforced hull, protection against micrometeorites, the enhanced sensor array, mineral composition analysis at greater distances, and the oversized reactor, energy requirements for deep space operations. On the final day, Zalek met Elena in her ready room. Your vessel is unusual, Captain Reyes. Thank you, she replied, maintaining her composure. That was not necessarily a compliment. Zalek set down his datapad. However, I find no clear violations of the treaty. Each system does indeed have a legitimate mining purpose. Elena nodded, keeping her face neutral. I will approve the Defiance for commissioning. Zalek continued, but know this. The Council will be watching. Should this vessel engage in any military action, the consequences for Earth would be severe. The Defiance is a peaceful mining vessel, Elena assured him. Nothing more. After Zalek departed, Elena joined her senior officers in the ship's mess hall. Her first officer, Commander Jackson, raised a coffee mug. To passing inspection, he said, and to mining operations, added Chief Engineer Yamamoto with a wink. 2 weeks later, the Defiance launched from lunar orbit. Its official mission, a 2-year resource extraction operation in the Ta-City system. Its crew of 180 was a mix of actual miners and former military personnel, all carefully selected for discretion and adaptability. As the massive ship accelerated toward its jump point, Elena recorded her first captain's log. Defiance launch successful. All systems nominal. Course set for Ta-City. While our primary mission remains resource extraction, this vessel stands ready to defend human interests should the need arise. The Council may have forbidden us from building warships, but they never said anything about humans being clever. 6 months into their mission, the Defiance had established a productive routine. They'd mapped 3 asteroid fields and extracted valuable minerals from 2, establishing a reputation as a highly efficient mining operation. Council observers had visited twice, finding nothing but a well-run extraction vessel. Elena was reviewing production reports in her quarters when the communication panel chimed. Captain to the bridge. Commander Jackson's voice was tense. Priority signal from Vega Prime. Elena arrived on the bridge moments later. Report. Distress call from the human colony, Jackson explained. They're under attack. On screen. The view screen flickered to show the colony administrator, his face streaked with dirt and what looked like blood. This is Administrator Pearson of Vega Prime. We are under attack by Krell raiders. 3 ships in orbit. Ground forces already landed. The Council response fleet is 8 days out. We won't last that long. Any human vessels in range, please assist. Repeating. The transmission cut off abruptly. Distance to Vega Prime. Elena asked, her voice steady. 36 hours at maximum speed. The navigator replied. Elena knew what was at stake. If they went to Vega Prime's aid, they would reveal the Defiance's true capabilities. The treaty would be violated, Earth potentially sanctioned. But if they didn't go, thousands of colonists would die. Set course for Vega Prime, she ordered. Maximum speed. And notify Dr. Yamamoto to begin converting all systems to defensive configuration. It's time to see what this mining vessel can really do. The Defiance dropped out of FTL on the edge of the Vega system, running silent. On the bridge, the crew worked with focused intensity as sensor data streamed in. 3 Krell vessels in orbit around Vega Prime. Lieutenant Park reported from the sensor station. Standard radar configuration. 1 command ship. 2 support vessels. Life signs on the surface indicate fighting in the main settlement. Status of our systems? Elena asked, turning to Chief Engineer Yamamoto. All mining equipment reconfigured for alternative use. He replied with a slight emphasis on the euphemism. Cutting lasers at full power. Magnetic separators charge. Hull reinforcement active. Commander Jackson leaned closer to Elena. The Krell outgun us 3-1, Captain, even with our modifications. Then we'll have to be smarter, Elena replied. She addressed the bridge crew. We all knew this day might come. The Defiance was built for mining, but today we mine for freedom. Our people are dying down there, and we're their only hope. She stood from her chair. Tactical display. The main screen shifted to show Vega Prime and the orbiting Krell vessels. Elena studied their positioning, looking for weaknesses. They're maintaining a standard triad formation, she noted. Communications officer hailed the lead vessel. Moments later, a Krell commander appeared on screen. The reptilian alien scales gleamed metallic in the light of its bridge, compound eyes widening at the sight of a human vessel. This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth mining vessel Defiance. You are attacking the human colony in violation of Galactic Council regulations. Withdraw immediately. The Krell commander made a clicking sound that the translator interpreted as laughter. A mining vessel. The humans send a mining vessel against 3 warships. Your species truly is as foolish as they say. This is your only warning. Elena replied evenly. Withdraw your forces or face the consequences. The Krell terminated the transmission. They're powering weapons, Park reported. Evasive maneuvers, Elena ordered. Target the nearest support vessel with cutting lasers. Focus on their propulsion systems. The Defiance surged forward, its oversized engines giving it surprising speed for a vessel of its size. The first Krell energy blast struck their reinforced shields, designed to withstand asteroid impacts and solar radiation. Shields holding at 87%, reported the defensive systems officer. Fire-cutting lasers. The mining equipment deployed, sending precisely focused energy beams toward the smaller Krell vessel. Designed to slice through dense mineral deposits, the lasers cut through the enemy ship's hull with surprising efficiency. Direct hit, Park confirmed. Their engine core is destabilizing. The Krell vessel veered away, trailing atmosphere and debris. 1 down, Elena said, but they're adapting. The other 2 are spreading out to flank us. The bridge rocked as concentrated fire from the remaining Krell ships hammered their shields. Shields at 62%, came the report. We can't take much more of this. Elena studied the tactical display. Dr. Yamamoto, those magnetic separators, could they disrupt their weapon targeting if we get close enough? The engineer's eyes widened. Yes, but we have to be within 1 kilometer. Their weapons would tear us apart before we got that close. Not if they can't see us coming. Elena turned to her navigator. Set course directly for Vega Prime's moon. Full speed. The massive mining vessel accelerated toward the cratered moon, drawing the Krell ships in pursuit. What are you planning, Captain? Jackson asked quietly. A mining maneuver, Elena replied with a thin smile. As they approached the moon's dark side, she ordered, cut engines. Divert all power to the magnetic separators and shields. The Defiance went dark, drifting behind the moon and out of the Krell ship's sensor range. They're following our projected course, Park reported. Passing the moon in 15 seconds. On my mark, Elena said, fingers gripping her chair arms. Mark. The Defiance's engines roared back to life, propelling the ship directly toward the passing Krell vessels. Before they could react, the human ship was among them, magnetic separators at full power. Originally designed to pull metallic ore from worthless rock, the separators now created powerful electromagnetic fields that played havoc with the Krell ship's systems. Their targeting sensors scrambled, weapons misfiring. Now, Elena ordered, target their command ship with grapples and cutting lasers. The massive cargo grapples, built to secure and move asteroids weighing thousands of tons, shot out and latched onto the Krell command vessel. Simultaneously, the cutting lasers sliced through its weapons arrays with surgical precision. The second support ship tried to maneuver away, but Elena was ready. "Release the mining drones," she commanded. Dozens of small automated drones, normally used for surveying asteroid composition, swarmed the remaining Krell vessel. Each drone carried a small cutting laser, enough to survey rock samples, but when working in concert, enough to systematically disable a ship's external sensors and weapon emplacements. "The command ship is hailing us," the communications officer announced. The Krell commander appeared on screen again, but the arrogance was gone from its alien features. "Cease your attack," it demanded. "This mining vessel facade does not fool us. You have violated the Treaty of Arcturus, and you violated the lives of our colonists." Elena replied coldly. "Order your ground forces to stand down and return to your vessels immediately." The Krell hesitated, compound eyes shifting. "Perhaps I wasn't clear," Elena said. "Your ships are disabled. Your ground forces are cut off. The real Council fleet will be here in 8 days. You can leave now, intact or not at all." The Krell commander's mandibles clicked in what might have been frustration. "We will withdraw." 30 minutes later, the Krell ground forces had returned to their ships. The Defiance released its hold on the command vessel and watched as the damaged Krell fleet limped toward the system's edge. On the colony surface, Administrator Pearson's face appeared on the view screen, tears in his eyes. "Captain Rice, you've saved over 2,000 lives today. How can we ever thank you?" "We did what any humans would do," Elena replied. "Stay strong. The Council fleet will arrive soon to secure the system." After the transmission ended, Commander Jackson approached Elena at her command chair. "The Council will know what we've done, Captain. The Krell will report this. They'll know the Defiance isn't just a mining vessel." "Let them know," Elena said, looking at the view screen where Vega Prime now shone peacefully. "The Council gave us 2 choices: obey their restrictions and watch our people die, or find a way to protect ourselves and face their censure. I can live with the second option." 3 weeks later, Elena stood in a hearing chamber on the Galactic Council's central station. Representatives from 12 species sat in elevated positions around the room, looking down at her. Among them was Inspector Xalek, whose antenna twitched with what might have been vindication. "Captain Elena Reyes," intoned the Council chairperson, a towering avian being, "you stand accused of violating the Treaty of Arcturus by commanding a vessel with military capabilities. How do you respond?" Elena stood straight in her formal uniform. "I commanded a mining vessel with exceptional mining capabilities. Those capabilities were used to defend innocent civilians when the Council's protection failed to arrive in time." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. "The Defiance was inspected and approved as a mining vessel," Elena continued. "Every system used in the defense of Vega Prime has legitimate mining applications. We simply used our tools creatively." "This is semantics," argued the Krell representative. "The humans have circumvented the treaty's intent." "The treaty's intent," Elena countered, "was to prevent humans from engaging in aggressive military action. Defending our colonies against raiders is not aggression, it's survival." The Council debated for hours. Finally, the chairperson addressed Elena again. "The Council finds that while the spirit of the treaty may have been challenged, the letter of the agreement was not violated. The Defiance is, technically, a mining vessel." Relief flooded through Elena. However, the chairperson continued, "To prevent further, creative interpretations, the treaty will be amended. Human mining vessels will be subject to additional restrictions and inspections." The chairperson leaned forward. "But in recognition of the threat posed to frontier colonies, the Council will also establish rapid response fleets in 3 additional sectors, including human space." As Elena left the chamber, Inspector Xalek fell into step beside her. You found a loophole, Captain Reyes, the Arcturian said quietly. Impressive, if troubling. We did what we had to do, Alina replied. Wouldn't your people do the same? Zalek was silent for a moment. Perhaps, but now I understand why your species carries the conflict-prone designation. It's not that we seek conflict, Alina explained. It's that we refuse to accept no-win scenarios. The Council told us we couldn't have warships, so we built something better. A ship that creates rather than destroys, but can still defend when needed. Back aboard the Defiance, Alina gathered her crew. The Council has decided. We're still a mining vessel, she announced to Cheers, with some additional restrictions and oversight, but our mission continues. Commander Jackson approached her after the briefing. So, back to mining asteroids, Captain. Alina smiled. For now. But the galaxy now knows something important about humanity. Even without warships, we're a force to be reckoned with. As the Defiance charted a course for its next mining operation, Alina recorded an entry in her personal log. The Council thought they could contain human ingenuity with a treaty. They failed to understand that our greatest weapon isn't our technology, it's our creativity. They didn't allow us to build warships, so we built something better. A ship that represents who we truly are. Not just warriors, but builders, miners, explorers, and when necessary, defenders. Perhaps that's the lesson they needed to learn about us all along.